busy in campaigns and were not focusing on what was happening. That's when the fellow Acholis are the one inviting them.
So what are the community saying? What are the netizens saying? The immediate wave of public reactions across community forums reveals a population that feels deeply gaslit, fiercely defensive of its land, and utterly exhausted by political deflections. Looking at the raw, verbatim text of these responses, the anatomy of the community's outrage becomes crystal clear. Nobat Onen, who committed at 10:39 p.m., which actually invited Balaalo. She should be specific if she did it together with her family or name the people who did so. Now, this is an immediate aggressive demand for transparency by asking which Acholi and challenging the minister to name specific individuals. Even suggesting our own family, the user completely rejects the weaponization of collective guilt. It highlights a key frustration. If the state has intelligence on the specific saboteurs, why use a blanket statement to vilify an entire community instead of releasing names and executing arrests? Now, Honorable Malapele at 10:43 p.m. said, I don't pat Kimeo John. Now this, when you translate from Acholi, it cuts straight to raw localized expression, essentially calling the minister's logic completely backward or foolish. The choice of two-person face palming emojis serves as a modern digital side of this belief. It shows that within just 4 hours, the news breaking, local leaders and community members were already dismissing the narrative as an absurd political stunt. There comes Isaac Rubberman at 10:11 p.m. said it's very true that these Balaalos go direct to someone. Some were already identified. The someone is actually, people just need to understand what's being preached. This reaction is highly analytical. The user is supporting Minister co-arbitrators that they are internal actors. However, the phrase, understand what's being preached, acts as a warning to the public and a defense against Minister Akori. And it's a massive smoke screen distracting the public from the larger structural failure of the eviction exercise itself. Now, Dawoodi at 10 p.m., at 10:50 p.m. said, lead Brian Amuri, Log Oda Tech, though our minister needs to get a good team around her, providing her with accurate data or information about this Balaalo. Like my neighbor with these animals around the border of Agago and Pade from Pade site in the place called Huruti, he never left since up to date. No one chased him. That side of Ukidi and Atiak, no one implemented the executive order. This is a devastating blow to the ministry's official PR. By providing precise, unshakable ground-level geography, the Agago-Pade border at Rudi and Okidi in Atiak, the user exposes that the executive order has been a complete ghost in key areas. The others didn't return, they never left. The grinning face with smiling eyes emoji at the hand is pure, biting irony, mocking a minister who claims a massive 67,000 cattle victory while completely blind to the reality in our own backyard. Look, Kwaruk, 10:59 p.m. She's a high on something. I wonder what that is. We seem to have an endless supply of her kind. So painful. What bewitched Acholi? This post shifts the tone from logic to profound emotional betrayal. The hyperbole, she's high on something, reflects total alienation from the political class. The user's agonizing question, what bewitched Acholi, points to a deeper trauma. The pain of watching a leader from their own soil turn around and point the finger back at a community still fighting for its post-war recovery and land protection. Now, Lucy LaRuby at 1:20 a.m. said shit. Now, brevity captures the baseline emotion. A single expletive followed by a heavy row of 5 loudly crying face emojis, represents total psychological exhaustion. It is a digital equivalent of throwing one's hands up in despair. It reflects the feelings of ordinary citizens who are tired of the endless back and forth over customary land violations while their crops continue to be trampled. Now, there's a guy called Brim, 6:46 a.m. said, at first I looked at Akello Akori as someone who can't really behind us positively. I thought she's with functional brains, but who on earth from Acholi land invited Balaalo back? This is disgusting. Now, this morning post perfectly maps the political cost of the minister's statement. It tracks the journey from hope to utter disgust. The user highlights a broken expectation. They expected a local leader with functional brains to protect the sub-region's delicate land ownership and mineral vulnerabilities. By concluding that the statement is disgusting, the user encapsulates the general consensus. The community views this rhetoric not as a genuine administrative update, but as political malpractice.